All right, in this lesson of understanding the words of the word, we're going to do a faith analysis. We're going to see if you, in fact, have living faith. And to do so, we're going to actually look at the scripture. We're going to begin by looking at the scripture that teaches us how to evaluate our faith and determine whether or not we have living, active faith, or whether our faith is dying or dead. And this is found in the book of James, chapter 2. And here's what it says. What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, depart in peace, be warmed and be filled, but you do not give them the things which are needed for the body, what does it profit? Thus also, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Now, I thought this was a great picture to illustrate this scripture here, because here you have a priest and a Levite, okay, two individuals who would be like pastors or ministry leaders today, and they walk right past an individual who is destitute and definitely in need of daily necessities. And I'm sure while they walk past and they're on their way somewhere busy, they utter the words, be warmed and be filled, but they didn't do what was necessary. They didn't do what was needful. However, this individual, who was not a priest or a Levite, this individual was not a minister, this individual took time to stop and give this individual who was in need what they needed. Okay. Now, another thing I want you to notice here is that the word faith and the word works I have underlined in bold print. And that's because there in this scripture, James is contrasting faith without works versus faith that does have works. And in Hebrew, you can do something pretty special here. Now, this is a little deep, okay? So for those that like to get a little bit deeper into understanding the word, and this is why this series is understanding the words of the word, okay, you may enjoy this. So in Hebrew, every letter is a picture, but every letter is also a number. So when you take a letter, or word rather, which is obviously full of letters, you have a number. Let me give you an example. The Hebrew word for faith is emunah, and the numbers of the letters here add up to 96. So for example, the Aleph is a 1, the Mem a 40, the Noon is a 50, and the Hey is a 5. If you add these letters up, again, which are also numbers, you get 96. And the Hebrew word for works or work is abad, and it consists of an ayin, which is a 70, a bet, which is a 2, and a dalet, which is a 4. So add those up together, you get 76. Now, if we take faith and subtract works from it, you get 20, because you're subtracting 76 from 96. Again, the Hebrew word for faith, or the numerical value for faith, is 96, and the numerical value for works is 76. So 96 minus 76 gives you 20. And so you ask the question, what other word in Hebrew or words has the numerical value of 20? And the word is devay. What does devay mean? Devay, which has a numerical value of 20, which is the difference between faith and works, means illness or sickness. It means that something is dying. But guess what? The numerical value of 20 is also shared by the word chaya, which, what does this word mean? It means ruin or destruction. It means calamity. In other words, faith without works is dead. Isn't that amazing? That the scripture not only tells us that faith without works is dead, but mathematically, with the word itself, you can subtract works from faith and end up with a word that means illness or dying. So what's the meaning of the connection? How about take a look at the scripture here in Luke? He who has heard and did nothing is like a man who built his house on the earth without a foundation, against which the stream beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. So the idea here is that if you fail to carry out the teachings and instructions of God, it will bring you to ruin. So a faith that works must be a working faith. Don't tell me what you believe, show me by what you do. And again, if your faith would allow you to be this individual that walks past someone that is in need you need to question how profitable is your faith.